RMRX Project DQuest. That you might agree, consensus must start somewhere. Therefore, I say to you, see, I told you my face does not add content value. I believe that identity politics of American red and blue, the party citizenship paradigm, has never before been more divisive in our shared history than right now. I do not say this lightly or without debate. By comparison, then, what other periods of American history might have presented greater challenges? What elements do we presently experience which have historical precedent? We've got global pandemic, civil rights, labor rights, monetary price inflation, unemployment, foreign opinion, inter-party division, intra-party division, terrorism, and who won the presidential election? These are 10 strong reasons why America is arguing right now. By arguing, I point to the disagreement at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. I have been a Team Red loyalist. I have been a Team Blue loyalist. Nowadays, I explore purple and blended primaries. I've traveled all over the political spectrum, from being an aspiring teenage Republican to an enthusiastic, idealistic Chomsky socialist, and then back around to pragmatics. I am an ideology slut. I like to think around with lots of partners. Sometimes I like to think with groups of people. The rest of the time, I'm thinking to myself. I constantly explore ideas, which is to say that I take one idea and I put it with another idea and I examine synergy. Data, information, knowledge, wisdom. This is a normal progression. Humans drink in information as water, and that water may become polluted. I say again, identity politics has never before been more divisive than right now. Media amplifies the range and passions of opinion. Data accuracy, that is the objective description of an event, is compromised. Information accuracy becomes GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Knowledge is misassembled, wisdom misleads. Our moral compass is spinning and the map is old. Some of the readings are demonstrably fake, which is why Uncle Bob sounds so very stupid to us. It may well be true that Uncle Bob is stupid and lacking in a generalized intelligence, but maybe Uncle Bob is merely politically stupid. I mean, Uncle Bob is a mechanical engineer and he's going to retire with a strong investment portfolio. Uncle Bob can explain lots of things. He has deep interests in several hobbies, and Uncle Bob has a great sense of humor. But Uncle Bob is in that new cult. It's not the Moonies, and comments are irrelevant. This cult is hatred. He hates different things than you, and he really hates them, and he organizes and associates based on those hatreds. Now, he has reasons: data, information, knowledge, wisdom. The track goes somewhere. It's just not to a shared place. Uncle Bob's imagination is tripping balls on the World Wide Web. The internet goes to dark places. Uncle Bob understands that media lies to everyone, and this is not incorrect per se. Uncle Bob believes that media only lies to everyone, and this is wrong. The 100% lie heuristic is flawed. The 0% lie heuristic is also flawed. The lie is why, and let it be somewhere in between the two extremes. What we have is a variance in opinion. Team Red and Team Blue both have an estimate of this why, and it applies to all data they consume. Media bias is labeled liberal, which is also a lie. It's in there. If you look, you're liable to see it. Media bias also includes the foxes and the sheep and the wolves. The bias here, our wolf, is simply corporate bias, and it uses a different voice depending on its audience. Uncle Bob is not stupid, but he is politically stupid because he uses bad heuristics based on what he does not like rather than what he does like. Uncle Bob is voting against things. On every issue, he's angry and he's against something. It's how he frames it. He isn't for responsible gun ownership so much as he is against government gun legislation. He isn't for legal immigration procedures as he is, against immigrant rights. He isn't for voting so much as he is against expanding voting rights. Uncle Bob is angry, and he is also politically stupid. Stupid has flavors, and everyone is somehow afflicted. I am paperwork stupid. If it involves paperwork, I'm not good at it. Political stupidity is a deficiency in his brain based on how Bob hates. Now, I empathize with Bob. It's got to be really difficult to interact with others using this heuristic. Ask a healthy person, what do you hate? And the healthy person may say, I can't stand the taste of mushrooms. Uncle Bob is going to say something more like he hates Muslims. This is a range of opinion, and it's only one extreme case. This is the range of every opinion, and it must stop. We need to have the conversations necessary to deprogram American extremists. The cult must be diluted. Opinion's a vector. It goes places. It goes to further extremes. If we do not appropriately change vectors, America is in for more serious trouble. The army of Uncle Bob is strong and decentralized. Bob is everywhere in the United States. Fortunately, Bob is also our uncle. He is not Uncle Sam, to be sure, but Bob is our uncle, and we still love him. Uncle Bob is not beyond saving, and the hatred is not terminal. But hatred is a cancer for Bob. It's not useful, and it requires lots of his energy, his thinking, and will ultimately determine outcomes. Bob's is a fighter mentality. Bob fights against what he believes against. This is why Bob is not for things, he is against things. To Bob, things are to be fought. Contrary view here, advocacy, is much more difficult. Uncle Bob, remember, is otherwise intelligent, but his heuristics are less than useful. We need to teach Uncle Bob to pivot to advocacy. Ask him what he's for, what he wants. Initially, it'll be something like small government, because that's as far as Uncle Bob goes. His mind does not yet go to advocacy because the hatred suffocates his imagination. Ask him more questions. Keep prying until he starts imagining what he wants. What is the potential of government for good? Anti becomes pro. It may still sound stupid and it may still be rooted in hate, but it's going somewhere now. And Uncle Bob's going to grow out of this hatred and up into reality. Uncle Bob can grow out of his hatred. Hatred is a potted plant, and the soil is so basic that it prohibits growth. Uncle Bob needs community soil, the diversity of social experience, and mutual root space. This is positively essential. And when he starts to feel advocacy rather than just a negative environment, Bob may come to see. Uncle Bob, might throw away those red hats too. It's a stretch goal, I know, and it won't happen in one day. I understand that Uncle Bob has upset most of the family at this point. It's been, 4 Thanksgivings now that were memorable for the bad conversation. This holiday season isn't looking any better. So in the interest of Christmas with Uncle Bob, let's get to work. Bring back Bob. Make him say uncle. We need to discover how to deprogram because Bob's our uncle. Uncle Bob is family. Uncle Bob and Uncle Sam need to get together and talk again. Reconcile. They still love each other. Do it for Christmas this year or Thanksgiving 2025, depending on whatever your situation is. Make it a goal. Do it for God and country alike. Hatred is lame. Find some advocacy for Bob. Advocacy may well save us all. This is RMRX doing a series of uncut lines of pure Cogaineum on video for humanity's sake.